So I'm the program coordinator. I've been here for only 2 years at PICA, but I've been on campus since 2000. And I'm going to pass it to my sweetheart Cami to introduce.
Hi, I'm Cami, and I appreciate this opportunity to share some of my knowledge and passion about herbs with you guys. I've been gardening for some years now. I have 2 years at the California College of Herbal Studies up in Sonoma County, and then I've just completed a year of Ayurveda studies at Mount Madonna, so bringing in a both Western and Eastern perspective on herbs. And
It's only 10 years old, or 15 years, started in 2002 as a way to bridge the gap between the farm and the apprenticeship program we run over there and the undergraduate community, which is about 18,000 students that work up there.
As you can see, the family that has kind of run crazy is the mint family, and we're looking at plants here. We've got peppermint and spearmint, which
come close if you want to.
Yeah, if you want to come and touch things. Peppermint is this one. This one here is peppermint, and then this one here is spearmint. They look pretty similar, but you can tell the difference when you look at both of them. So sometimes we're gonna be picking some plants, and then especially if a stand is looking healthy, but you can just massage the leaf, and then you get a nice aromatic experience. It's gonna take a lot of oregano to put it into making essential oil. So just thinking about using essential oils as medicine, it usually takes a ginormous volume of the plant to actually make the oil. So that's how potent essential oils are. And oregano oil has become really popular and because it's very, very strong medicine. It's really good it's an antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, and it's a carminative. These herbs are all carminatives, so they're moving in the body and in the system. So it's warming, it's stimulating. You can use it for clearing congestion in the body. So those are some of those properties, and I know that those herbs make up some interesting formulas for the Benedictine products.
Yeah, so this is a good spot to talk about some of our digestive formulas, especially for our kids and our pets. We really like to do a lot more kind of what we call kitchen herbs, because it's just a little bit tastier. It's really hard to get our pets and our animals to eat things like dongui and some of those more kind of harder to stomach Chinese herbs. So it's really nice when we can get the mints and the oreganos, and especially like the kind of pizza herbs for kids is really pretty fun. So we have something called Tummy Ease, which is great just as an assimilation product, as something to help their digestion. Kids, their digestive tracts are still growing, right? They're actually not really matured until much, much later on. So even with new introduction of new foods, it can be really helpful. And with pets especially, and kids too, and adults actually, if your immune system is a little bit low, and the immune system can be low not only in the fall or winter time, but also around this time of year. Chinese medicine thinks of allergies as also like a small wind attack, and a wind attack is like a cold, right? So it's like a mini cold, but that you're constantly fighting, right? So working your digestive tract can really help just give you the nutrients that you need to kind of keep your system up, right? And as well, especially for women, it's a great way for us to ensure that we're having all the nutrients we need to recreate blood, right? And
then healing skin. So we just wanted to introduce this plant because we'll be bringing her up again later.
Fabulous. And this is a very good specimen of her. And just in general, this time of year I'm going to keep bringing up liver and wind and blood and this sort of thing because it's a big topic this time of year for Chinese medicine. And anything that's like spasmodic, any muscle spasms, any twitches, these sorts of things are highly related to the health of the liver, because the liver is kind of like the general, and he makes sure that everything moves super smoothly. And so if he doesn't have enough blood to keep things moving smoothly, then that's when you're going to have more tics, spasms, things like this. So like Bell's palsy, these sorts of things, right? So this is a really good herb.
All wear a badge of cleaver.
We'll be so cute.
And so we just wanted to stop and mention this plant because look how it's growing so prolifically just on this hillside. And it's such a powerful medicine. It's actually a plant that's so valued for its work in moving the lymphatic system that people will juice this, stick the juice in ice cube trays, and have frozen fresh cleaver juice for later in the year if they're dealing with any kind of sickness or any kind of, when you're having lymphatic congestion, which a lot of illness, if you move the lymph, you can help move the illness along. So it's a really awesome plant to get to know. My favorite way of consuming this plant is by juicing it with water in the blender with some lemon. Take a shot every morning in the springtime, help move the lymph around, which is a great way to detoxify the body.
And good for helping the liver do his job. The liver wants to move. He's like the 3-year-old kid who wants to do what he wants to do when he wants to do. And he can't move, which a lot of us don't move as much as we could or should. Then it's nice to have the helping hand of somebody to help move that lymph along. And speaking of lymph, we have an excellent lymph oil. I wish I had a sample for you guys because it's delicious. But the lymph oil, the kind of captain of that ship, well, the captain of that ship is Poke, but we don't have Poke with us today.
Poke is very strong.
Poke is, yeah, it's very strong, but it's an awesome herb. But along with him are these cleavers. And the lymph oil is really good if you've got a sore throat, if you've got swollen glands. It's really nice to put on. I actually recommend it as a massage oil as well, just to help kind of do that extra push to move things through. It's also really nice for anybody, acupuncturists and people who do gua sha and cupping, because it helps to move kind of the sort of like that red rash looking thing that comes up, right? You've got the suckerfish marks if you're doing the cupping, or you've got the gua sha. Gua sha is just a massage that we do with spoons. It's like a scraping, and so you look like you have a little bit of road rash when you get it done, but it's excellent. And the lymph oil is really nice because it helps it clear much faster. So if you've got a photo op and you forgot to tell your acupuncturist and now you look crazy, you can put some of this on and help it move through a little bit faster. Really, it's a good adjunct to our Chinese cold and flu too, if you guys know about that. It's really good for strep throat. And the lymph oil is just it's soothing, it smells wonderful, and when you're not feeling good, it's nice to have things kind of, you can almost feel it like moving it through and out. It's really yummy. So I want to talk about that here, and then I also want to talk about our chickweed oil. Chickweed is an excellent thing to use this time of year. I'll pass this around. Kim, if you want to open that for me. The chickweed oil, I want to talk about it now because it's also with the cleavers, and it's a really good drawing salve. So if you've got bee stings that are stuck, or splinters or things like that, it's really good to draw it out. It's also good for like extreme itchiness, crazy eczema that you're not supposed to itch, but you have to itch because it's driving you insane. Really good oil for that. And then I want to tell you a little story about one of Martha's patients. So one of Martha's patients came to her and she said, "Oh my God, my finger really hurts and nobody says that there's anything wrong with it, but I think that there's something wrong and it really, really hurts. What's the deal?" And she said, "Well, I don't know. Let's put some chickweed oil on it and see what happens." So put some chickweed oil on it, I think for a few days, and what ended up erupting was this gnarly toothpick-sized splinter from this woman's finger that had found its way in there somehow. She'd probably been doing some yard work or something like that, and she knew something was wrong, but nobody could see. I mean, sometimes the splinters are totally embedded. You can't even find them with the tweezers. So it's a really good drawing salve. So anyways, nice.
I love the lymph for allergies too.
Yes.
So because especially at this time of year, same way, like you use it with adjunct with the cold and flu when you're just putting it on the glandular system. I also like to rub a little on the nose when I'm doing that kind of massage there, and you know, get a little in your kind of the sinus points.
Nice, to help
Love
move
that,
the
to help move the
sinuses.
lymph
Ooh,
out of the
good.
face.
I like it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like with lymphatic massage, they tend to go from the extremities towards the heart always. So if you were to be applying this onto the body, then you'd want to kind of focus on the lymph areas, which are the neck and behind the head, under the armpits, and the groin behind the back. And then as you're massaging on, you know, you're moving towards your heart, pumping. If you're going down from your head towards your heart. So, you know, like this, in rhythmic long motions. So you're encouraging the lymph to flow how it wants to flow.
Yeah, and also really good for edema, you know, especially when it kind of pools around our ankles when we've been on our feet all day, that sort of thing. We can put some lymph oil on, we can scoop it up towards our heart, and we can kind of put our feet up with it and just help gravity pull things back for us, right? The fluid's all here, but then our eyes are dry and itchy. Oh my God, can I just manually scoop the liquid where it needs to be, please? So really helpful for that. And also dab it on your sinuses, bring it up towards your eyes.
That looks great.
And yeah, spinal is an amazing herb. It's really beneficial for digestion. The seeds, you know, you can toast them, you can make them into tea, you can grind them. They just really help with like any sort of bloating or gas, flatulence issues. Just really calms the digestive system. It's also in a galactoglath, which means it creates lactation in a woman. So it can help promote breast milk, and it's a very common herb used in
Like the
formula.
mother's milk.
Like the mother's milk. Which do you wanna talk about?
Yeah, mother's milk tincture, excellent to help with let down of milk, but also to help with there are some herbs in there to help with pick-me-up as well, to help the mother ease with stress, because stress can be something that can dry up mother's milk, and some things in there to help with promotion of fluids, and kind of like the opposite of diuretics, just to help with hydration, because the baby's going to get all of its water from your milk and all of its food from your milk, and so you have to make sure not only that you're eating, but that you're drinking. So it's a good idea when you're breastfeeding, like, oh, baby's having a drink, I'll have this. This is also a really great plant in our herbal mineral tonic, and it's not so much that it provides huge amounts of minerals, in that it also is helpful in the digestion of the minerals that are in that tonic. And I'll talk about the herbal mineral tonic when we finish up today, because we've got some yummy spritzers for you guys to try. And so the fennel is in there really to help with assimilation, because sometimes the rocks and stones and roots and things can be really hard for us to digest, but we still need those minerals, especially when our water sources aren't quite as fortified as they maybe once were. We'll sort of stand out from others, because there are plenty of companies that do plenty of different tinctures, California poppy, and you know, some of the other ones that I'm going to discuss. And I think that it's our small batch extraction process, because we do a double batch extraction. So we're cooking the herbs, we're extracting them in water, and then we're further extracting them in alcohol, because there are some properties in some of the herbs that you can't get unless you are extracting it with alcohol and or oil, in the case of some of our oils, and or water. So there's a lot that we go into. We also do a double press, and this is why we've actually stayed quite small, is because we want to put the love and care into each of our tinctures. And our California poppy is really, really excellent. It's also really good for like children who have bedwetting issues. It can be really helpful because it's accommodative. Sometimes the issues with bedwetting is nerves, largely, right? We've got nightmares going. We've got, I don't want to go to sleep and I have to go to sleep. This is a great example. Kids are very livery. They want to do what they want to do when they want to do it. Think of a tantrum child, right? But they have to go to bed. So anyways, the California poppy is really helpful. Again, any insomnia, also good for muscle aches, stomach cramps, these sorts of things that can also affect children quite a bit, right? Maybe they don't know what's wrong, maybe they have a hard time telling you, maybe they don't speak yet, but this can be really helpful if they're not comfortable, right? And there's dosages that you can look at. It's safe for children. Obviously you would give them less because they're smaller.